let's just jump right into it. Today, we are talking about an absolute culinary masterpiece in this explainer. I mean, we're diving into a massive, centuries-old Tuscan tradition, the legendary Bistecca alla Fiorentina. If you're a fan of incredible food, rich history, and just pure, unadulterated flavor, you are in exactly the right place. So, imagine paying over €100 for a single piece of meat. Crazy, right? But here's the thing. People aren't paying that because the steak is, wrapped in gold leaf or smothered in rare truffles. No way. They pay this for pure, exceptional beef. It is literally the ultimate premium placed on quality, technique, and tradition in Italian cuisine.
Now, I gotta give you a crucial warning if you ever visit Florence and decide to order one of these. Asking for this steak to be cooked well done isn't just kind of unusual, it will genuinely earn you shocked looks from the waiter, and honestly, probably the chef too. Italians deeply, deeply believe that cooking this specific cut beyond rare fundamentally ruins the whole experience.
Section 1. Anatomy of the Fiorentina. Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly makes this piece of meat so prestigious? Why is it the undisputed king of Italian steaks? Well, the origins of this dish actually date back hundreds of years to Florence itself. There's this widely debated but absolutely incredibly popular piece of lore that the actual word bistecca comes from English visitors during Renaissance celebrations. As the story goes, they were admiring these roaring fires and started shouting for the beefsteak, which local Florentines then kind of just adapted into the word bistecca. But a true Fiorentina isn't just any old beefsteak you'd pick up at the supermarket. This dish is traditionally a massive T-bone or porterhouse, and it's often sourced specifically from the historic Chianina breed of cattle. These are just giant, beautiful white cows that have literally roamed Tuscany for millennia. Because of their sheer size and quality, you absolutely have to cut the meat incredibly thick. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the minimalist philosophy of Tuscan cooking. The ingredient list is so beautifully simple. We're talking one massive 1 to 1.5 kilogram steak, so that's about 2 to 3 inches thick, some extra virgin olive oil, coarse sea salt, and freshly ground black pepper. That's it, the whole shebang. Well, okay, maybe you throw in some fresh rosemary or lemon wedges if you're feeling adventurous, but there are absolutely no complex sauces or heavy marinades needed when the meat is just this good.
Section 2. The fire and the ritual. Because there are so few ingredients to hide behind, the technique here has to be utterly flawless. Cooking a bistecca is basically a high-stakes event, right? It requires a strict, almost sacred methodology. Let me walk you through the meticulous timeline. Step 1, you bring the meat to room temperature and pat it completely dry. Step 2, you heat up extremely hot charcoal. We are talking blazing intense heat. Step 3, grill it for just 5 to 7 minutes per side, and then, this is cool, you actually stand the steak upright on its flat bone edge to render the fat. Step 4, rest the meat for 10 to 15 minutes. And finally, Step 5, slice it against the grain, season it up, and serve.
Now, what's really interesting here is that very first step, patting the steak dry thoroughly before it ever even gets close to the heat. You see, moisture is the absolute enemy of a good sear. Getting that bone-dry surface is the ultimate secret to developing that deep, incredibly flavorful, dark crust we're all looking for. Section 3. Common steak sins. So things can easily go completely sideways when people try to replicate this restaurant-quality steak at home. Let's contrast where home cooks stumble with the strict Fiorentina way. Mistake number 1. Using a thin steak. A true Fiorentina demands a very thick cut. Otherwise, the inside is going to cook way too fast. Mistake 2. Low heat. You literally need a powerful, blazing charcoal fire to get that signature crust without accidentally baking the center. Mistake 3, overcooking. Like we warned you earlier, traditionally, the center must remain rare. And finally, mistake 4, skipping the resting phase. If you cut in right away, all those amazing juices just run out onto your cutting board. Resting is absolutely mandatory to redistribute those juices right back into the meat. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this all builds up. A Tuscan table. When you actually follow these strict rules, the payoff isn't just a piece of food on a plate. It becomes this amazing sensory centerpiece. Just imagine the ultimate taste test. You have this intensely, beautifully charred crust on the outside, giving you a slight crunch and a really deep, smoky flavor. But then, right beneath that, the meat stays incredibly tender, juicy, and completely rare. You get the pure, natural, unmasked flavor of the beef, elevated by just a sprinkle of flaky sea salt and a drizzle of really high-quality olive oil. Honestly, no heavy sauce could possibly improve what is already exceptional. And for many people in Tuscany, the Fiorentina is so much more than just a meal to sustain you. It's a cultural event. It's something shared with family and friends gathered around the table. The sheer size of the steak means it's meant to be carved up and distributed. It perfectly represents the broader Tuscan traditions of culinary simplicity, sourcing outstanding local ingredients, and having a deep, communal respect for the product itself.
Now, I really want to hear from you. After learning about the strict rare-only tradition of Florence, I have to know, how do you actually prefer your steak? Are you a purist who loves it completely rare? Do you lean towards medium rare? Or do you prefer medium? Tell us your favorite down in the comments. If you enjoyed this explainer diving into today's Tuscan classic, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we continue breaking down the most authentic and fascinating dishes from around the globe. Keep exploring, keep cooking, and keep tasting the world.